Hi there. Welcome to Cine Culture with TJ Seaman, where everything we do is for the culture of filmmaking and cinematography. Alpha from Lebanon says he heard me talk about the room tone with reference to lighting and not sound. What has light got to do with the room tone? Let's dissect room tone and how to use it in lighting. So, with that out of the way, let's do this. Let's discuss room tone. You probably think of sound when you hear the word room tone. In sound production, presence, also known as room tone or simply room sound, is the silence of a space or location when there is no dialogue. As we have room tones in sound recording, so we also have room tones in lighting as well. To take your image to the next level, room tone is one of the most subtle and important tools you have. This is actually achieved by lighting the background, foreground, and midground. A room tone is the relationship between the quality, feel, and level of light used in these elements. The lighting feel of a scene is determined by its room tone. When working in an interior scene, we can use natural light to create an ambience throughout the house. This allows us to control how much or how little light we want. If we are working on a night scene, for example, or shooting in darkened buildings, we will need to add lighting. This natural feeling of ambient light is known as room tone. It has been said so many times that every cinematographer should aim to use light so that it is impossible to determine the source except the sources he wants you to see. The room tone is a general atmosphere that surrounds the room. It helps to bring out the level of the blacks and prevents them from being crushed or desaturated. To create this scene, I wanted to create a creamy evening scene that graduated from being less contrasty into being more contrasty as the night progressed. Please don't forget that when creating these room tones, your white balance in camera is also very important. So in this scene, I had 4 practicals with the aperture B7C in them to match the room lights, create color, and break the backgrounds, as you see here. I also used the aperture lantern overhead with CTO gel on it and a 300D Mark II in it. I had more B7Cs on a row board here to light the background, and an LED 1x1 also, tungsten matched to light the stairs. Then lastly, I had 2 more Aperture 3D Mark IIs to blast into a 6x6 diffusion frame to fill the room and decrush the shadows. They were both at 50%. This gave the room tone an evening look and strengthened the scene when night came. There is a naturality about the scene because it looks like every other evening. The thing about lighting being natural is that in real life, even in poorly lit spaces, you can kind of see the outlines of objects. So if you'll need to put more than one light to mimic a motivated light, please do it. If it fits into the room tone style you want to give your scene. Do you want the room tone style to be dark? or angelic? Or do you want the tone to have varying degrees of contrast? For example, shooting early in the morning and you want to show the audience that the conversation or the scene graduates into midday. The bluish color I had at the walkway to the sitting area is to accentuate the cold they experience outside and then coming into the warmth of the sitting area in this scene. It also gives great separation from the background. Now look at this scene from some of my students. They use the graduated room tone to tell the story between light and darkness, good and bad, as the subject moved from being a normal girl into the worst days of her life. The room tone moved from little or no contrast to very contrasty. It also moved from purely daylight to colored, danger looking because of the red and chaotic ambience. So when do I use room tone? I use room tones mainly for interior lighting. How do I deploy it? I deploy it using my script and my screenplay. Dialogue also and feeling of the characters should never be ignored when creating a room tone. What quality of ambient light should be used? I mostly work with soft light, so any graduation feels natural. When your lights are too saucy, sometimes they bring dichotomization into the scene, which removes the natural feel. But for daylight or sunlight mimicking, hard directional light is mostly what I use. And that's it, folks. Don't hesitate to send in questions in the comment section, and I will surely answer them. Also, subscribe and follow for more filmmaking secrets and equipment giveaways. But more importantly, do not forget to keep making films. That's the source to getting better. See you in the next video.